You read the title, you know what this video is about. But you may not know exactly what pro gamer syndrome is. So today we're going to go over some bad Steam reviews, and we're going to dissect them and figure out exactly what pro gamer syndrome is. And with that out of the way, let's dive right into it. So what is pro gamer syndrome? Well, a basic definition of it is a gamer overestimating their gaming prowess. You'll most likely see this in negative Steam reviews of games like Cuphead or Celeste or maybe even Super Meat Boy. And usually they could just put on simple mode or assist mode and learn the boss's moves and recognize patterns and then eventually beat the boss on the regular modes. But instead they just write a negative Steam review, complaining about how difficult the game is, which doesn't help anyone. Now the fun part of the video, reading negative Steam reviews, specifically reading negative Steam reviews that were clearly written by someone who is diagnosed with pro gamer syndrome. So let's just jump right into it. This first one says, I enjoy the game enough to be happy. I've played it and to continue playing it longer, but I simply cannot put this as a yes on Steam's black and white yes or no column. A regular player who just wants to beat all the bosses might have a good time with the game or might become too frustrated with it, but I certainly cannot recommend Cuphead to a completionist or someone who feels compelled to achieve the best scores. Positives. Very simple concept, dodge and shoot your way to victory, everyone can understand that. Focus of the game on difficult boss fights, artwork is superb, sound is amazing, humor is solid, bosses and arenas are all varied, customization of your abilities, which are not given, soaring system is fair, it is immediately cleared what can be parried, and levels so far are relatively short, giving that feeling of one more try. But positives aren't what we're looking at with diagnosing pro gamer syndrome, it's the negatives we're looking for. However, the gameplay is flawed in more ways than Willy Wonka's elevator travels. Of course, you can't have a negative Steam review without a horrible metaphor that does not even make any sense. Okay, whatever. Let's just move on to the negatives. Now for the negatives, and oh boy is this one a long one. Bosses are trial and error, just like every other video game, often becoming a series of restarts because I got hit before the section I'm struggling on. This leads to them being mostly unrewarding and becoming attempt after attempts of mechanics to understand but have accomplished but got hit by anyway for any of the other flaws I've yet to list. This is just like any other video game. Every other video game has trial and error bosses. What other video game have you played? Mario? Anyway, inconsistent controls and unclear hitboxes, of course. You can't have a gamer without them complaining about how bad their controls are. And, bad hitboxes, of course. Anyway, parrying becomes far too risky when trying to achieve a perfect score, as you are more than likely going to hit instead, even if you spam the parry button. Fox difficulty. The boss's attacks are RNG and there's no consistent pattern to them. Oftentimes you will land a parry or succeed a mechanic only for another mechanic to spawn on top of you and cause you to lose HP. Yeah, lots of bosses have RNG in them, but alright, whatever. The arenas are too small. Couple this with the height of Cuphead's jump being mostly static causes a lot of HP this is basically just inconsistent controls. The screen is cluttered with many distractions. Mechanics are often hidden behind the foreground, more Fox difficulty, and etc. Anyway, that's what Cuphead's supposed to be. You're supposed to avoid the distractions and only focus on what you have to avoid, what your character has to avoid, and, only focusing on those things and not just everything that is going on the screen, which is a lot. And co-op is awful and clearly an afterthought. Why are you even playing on co-op? Don't know why you're playing on co-op, but okay, whatever. But yeah, co-op is definitely an afterthought. But finally we wrapped up the negatives. That was a very long one. Anyway, there's one more paragraph, so let's go to that one. TLDR, the most important part of 99% of the games is the gameplay. Cuphead misses the mark in too many areas for it to be acceptable, but you just said it made you happy. Well, not just said, because that was multiple paragraphs ago, but you just said in the beginning that it was acceptable and you enjoyed the game. Alright, whatever. Ruining the positives, leading it to become a mediocre and frustrating experience. Buddy, this is overwhelmingly positive. Many people disagree with you, so I don't think it's mediocre. Anyway, the game has received a lot of praise for being hard, but so few have stopped to analyze what makes Cuphead hard, and instead want to promote and talk about it in order to boast about playing and enjoying tough games. Is Cuphead hard? Yes. Is the challenge part of fun, or is the fun the challenge? Definitely the latter, because Cuphead pulls every move it can to make it a challenge, regardless of the impact it has on the enjoyment and the experience itself. Most challenging games are challenging while remaining fair, but Cuphead's lies in it being unfair. Alright, let's analyze this and see some symptoms of pro-gamer syndrome, and maybe with this, maybe you can self-diagnose yourself and maybe solve that problem. Anyway, number 1, complaining about the game's difficulty. This one is very common. It, happens all the time. And also saying that you can't like the game because the game is difficult. Then, also, in the negative Steam review, making the Steam review like an entire essay. What are you gonna do? Like, turn this into your college professor? Like, what are you planning on doing with this? And number 4, horrible metaphors that don't make any sense. And I think this guy sums it up perfectly. Bro, just say you're trash at the game. Thankfully, this one is much shorter. Still like 5 paragraphs, but much, much shorter. Alright, let's see. Repetitive, boring, unrewarding. Okay, Mr. 60 hours. What the game is truly missing is some kind of player feedback. Here's the main problem with Cuphead. Bosses and enemies don't feel reactive. They feel like they'd continue on regardless of whether or not the player was there. This becomes especially apparent during sections of boss fights where nothing is happening. Where standing a few inches from a boss, shooting them in the face with a finger shotgun for 10 seconds, and there's no consequence, no damage, and no indication that they are being hurt other than a flashing white for half a second. Combat gets incredibly boring. Even a health bar would have made all the difference. There is one, when you die. You know that little bar there when you die? Yeah, that's a health bar. Anyway, as a result, combat feels completely unrewarding, and there's no overarching goal other than to unlock more boss fights. Like every other game with boss fights. It's just like, oh cool, you beated the boss. Go on to the next one. Like, that's every other game. I don't know what you're talking about. The worst part is that a simple health bar on the enemies would have made this a better game. No, it wouldn't. Also, there is a health bar. With a health bar, you would see the damage, have some kind of player feedback, and it might actually make the game harder. How? How would a health bar make the game harder? Alright, if you know the boss is almost dead, you would make riskier moves, knowing the boss might die before getting off that next super attack. Why is that important? As it stands, you might just have to play it safe all the time because you have no idea how much health each boss has. You just have to keep shooting until the level ends. That's really good. And you also have to dodge stuff, Okay. Anyway, but also that's kind of the fun of it. You have to like assume what, how much health they're at based on what phase they're at and how long you've been on the phase. From the flower to the frog, this game is a slog. Oh my goodness. Watch it on YouTube, but pass on the purchase. Edit. Try the devil or Ribby and the croaks with the music turned off. It's a jarring experience? Wow. Alright, I'm gonna have one of them, probably Ribby and the Croaks, music on here, and, tell me if this paired with this is a jarring experience.
You're up.
Yeah, didn't think so. This one's a little different. This one's for Celeste, and we're just gonna do this for fun. We're not really gonna dissect this one too much. Alright, here we go. This game is a disgrace to good and fun games. This game is beep. The ghost boss is unpredictable. If you miss one pixel off, there is no way to finishing it. I have 1,000 deaths, and I am only in the middle of the game. Beep. This game, I will never finish it. And it was a waste of my time and money. Game of the year, my ass. Listen, developers, when you have a good idea for a game and a story to tell, just make a good and fun game. If I wanted, hell, I can play LOL or Overwatch. I want my single-player experiences to be fun and relaxing with some challenges that you can overcome by learning patterns and getting better skills like beeping Cuphead, Hyper Licks Drifter, and Hotline Miami. But this game is over my nerves because even in bleeping Dark Souls, you can learn the patterns. You can go and grind to get better stuff. But here you just jump and dash. Again, a game that everything you touch instantly kills you. And don't get me started in collecting the straw barrels. If you want to break your keyboard and mouse, buy this game and play it on standard difficulty. Good luck. Oh gosh, that was a doozy. So let's dissect this one just a tiny little bit. Obviously complaining about the difficulty, and obviously this guy did not use assist mode because he was only playing on standard difficulty. Rookie mistake right there. And he was also saying that you cannot enjoy the game if you play on standard difficulty. Because you will break your keyboard and mouse. Clearly, this guy was very mad when he wrote this. My goodness, like, there's so many spelling errors. Oh God, this is just a very funny review. I just wanted to go over this one. All right, that's all the reviews I got. Now, I think we can say exactly what pro gamer syndrome is. What it is it's basically just gamers who overestimate their gaming prowess, as I said in the beginning. But it also kind of turns them into Redditors as well, which might be arguably even worse. But anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully you'll like and subscribe. Anyway, goodbye.